Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Lassiter Factor Podcast, the podcast where I talk about anything in the world of entertainment, from movies, music, entertainment, pop culture, you name it. And if you're listening, thank you so much for listening now. On this episode, I'm pretty much going to break down all the winners and nominees of the 90th Oscars. Yes, this episode right here is post the Oscars. It's actually, I think, probably an hour, maybe a couple of hours after I've just finished watching the Oscars, and a lot of good people winning a lot, and a lot of winners I was like, a bit on the fence about. But pretty much throughout this episode, I'm going to pretty much talk about all the winners of the Oscars. So let's get into it, starting with the Best Picture category, which was won by The Shape of Water. Now, if you remember in my episode where I was talking about the nominees of the Oscars after they were announced, about a good chunk of these I haven't seen yet, but since then I have seen some of these. Like, the only one that I haven't seen yet that I really wanted to see was I, Tonya. But The Shape of Water, I have seen that, and I'd say that movie is well deserved. It was a very ambitious and artistic film. Guillermo del Toro is definitely well deserved for Best Director, winning that category. Granted, I would love to see Jordan Peele win that award, but maybe even Greta Gerwig, because I have seen Lady Bird, but we'll get more into them later. But The Shape of Water winning over Dunkirk, Darkest Hour, Get Out, Lady Bird, Phantom Thread, The Post, Three Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri. The only chunk of these movies I have not seen is The Post, Phantom Thread, and Darkest Hour. Because it's just, the only reason I haven't seen those yet is either I just don't have that much interest in seeing it, or it's just I have a laundry list of other movies I have to watch that I'm just going to have to let some of those movies slip under my radar. But some of them is just like the movie like The Post, like you can just tell like this movie was pretty much just engineered to win Oscars, which ironically it didn't. But, Lady Bird, I'd say it's well deserved over Lady Bird. I would have, as much as I would have loved to see Get Out win Best Picture, but it didn't. And if it wasn't going to be Get Out, then I'd definitely say The Shape of Water was definitely next in line and definitely well deserved. So I say they pretty much got it right in that category. Three Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri. There was a small part of me that thought that was going to win because I have seen that and actually thought that was a pretty good film. But, The Shape of Water won, and very well deserved. Very, very crafty film. To the Best Director category, which I just said, Guillermo del Toro won that category over Christopher Nolan for Dunkirk, Jordan Peele for Get Out, Greta Gerwig for Lady Bird, and Paul Thomas Anderson for Phantom Thread. Again, Phantom Thread is the only one of these movies. As far as directors goes, you have to excuse me, it's a little late at night, but Phantom Thread is the only one of those directors who had a movie that I haven't seen yet. But like I said, for the Best Picture category, like I would love to see Jordan Peele win Best Director for that film. But again, we'll get more into that later. And if it wasn't going to be Jordan Peele, it was either Guillermo del Toro. But it's pretty much most of the categories is between Shape of Water and Get Out. And if it's not one, it's the other. And I would be happy with either or. So I'm very happy that Guillermo del Toro, representing the Mexican or Latinas for Best Director and Best Picture. So I'm very happy that happened. Christopher Nolan, as much as I would have loved to see him win Best Director, I really wanted him to win Best Director for a film other than Dunkirk. So, yeah. Next on to the Best Actor category, in which Gary Oldman, Lord have mercy, excuse me, again, like, I'm going to be sipping on Coke every now and then just to wake me up a little bit. But again, it's a little late at night, but I really wanted to get this out as soon as possible, so forgive me. Gary Oldman, about damn time he won an Oscar, because I think up until this point he had not won an Oscar, so it was good that he won for Darkest Hour. I had no interest in seeing Darkest Hour, but now that he won this award, I might make a better effort in seeing that, because especially since that movie won for best I believe it's best makeup and costume design, something like that. Because Gary Oldman, he was wearing a fat suit. Because I remember I saw the trailers with him, like, did Gary Oldman gain a couple of weight for this role? I don't know. But it turns out he's wearing a fat suit, so I don't know. But either way, I'd say Gary Oldman, I guess, is very well deserved over Timothy Chalamet for Call Me By Your Name, another one I have not seen yet. Daniel Day-Lewis for Phantom Thread, Daniel Kaluuya for Get Out, which I would have loved to see him win that award, but I guess Gary Oldman, I guess is pretty much the Oscars just making up for years of him not giving him something. Denzel Washington for Roman J. Israel Esquire. I mean, Denzel, he wasn't gonna win that award anyway, and there's nothing against the actor. I love Denzel, but he's made better movies in my opinion. And I'm not saying Roman J. Esquire is a bad movie, and I have seen that movie recently. It is a good film. I just feel like it's not as good as some of his other movies, let alone other performances that he's given. So, but he did do a good job in that movie. Frances McDermott won for 3 Billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri, over Sally Hawkins for Shape of Water, Margot Robbie for I, Tonya, Saoirse Ronan for Lady Bird, and Meryl Streep for The Post. Again, didn't really hope for The Post to win anything, because again, that just looked like a movie that engineered to win awards. Saoirse Ronan, I say, even if she won the award, I wouldn't have complained. Like, pretty much everyone outside of everyone other than Meryl Streep, if they would have won, I wouldn't have complained. But otherwise, I'm very happy for Frances McDermott that she won that award, especially given what she did for her acceptance speech. She pretty much sat her Oscar down, and she asked for all the women in the room to stand up, whether they're white, black, Mexican, fat, tall, whatever, and whether there's an whether there's an actress, director, costume designer, you name it. That was a very beautiful moment, and I very appreciated that. Sally Hawkins, there is a part of me that kind of hoped that she won that award, especially since throughout all the movie, she was a mute. She had no sound whatsoever, and she had to use sign language. But I'd say Frances McDermott, it was well-deserved, given the subject matter of the movie and what she brought to that role. It was, especially that she had a monologue in that movie that I didn't see coming in, was very true. So, yeah. To the Best Supporting Actor for Sam Rockwell. A lot of people saying he should have won for Moon, but hey, I guess this is the Academy making up for lost time. So it was very good that Sam Rockwell won for 3 Billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri. I'm very happy because I did think he put in a good performance in that film. William Dafoe for the Florida Project. I'm actually going to make a bigger effort to see that because, I'm kind of interested in seeing it. Woody Harrelson for 3 Billboards. He was good in that film, but the clear victor in that category was Sam Rockwell. Richard Jenkins for Shape of Water. He was good in that film. Christopher Plummer for All the Money in the World. Yeah, I am going to make a big effort to see that, though, because I am interested in seeing that. Especially surrounding all the, especially surrounding all the controversy behind that film involving the actor that shall not be named, cough, cough, Kevin Spacey, because he was replaced with that film because he got hit with sexual allegations. So the director of that film, Ridley Scott, he replaced him with Christopher Plummer, so I have to see. Allison Janney winning Best Supporting Actress. That was one that was a little out of left field for me because I have not seen Mudbound yet, and I do plan on seeing it, but I would have loved to see Mary J. Blige win that award, even though I haven't seen it yet, but I have to see. Leslie Manville for Phantom Thread. Laurie Metcalf for Lady Bird. She was going to have Octavia Spencer. I loved her in Shape of Water, but she didn't have that big of a role in it and didn't really add that much to it. And I'm not saying she was bad in the film, just she didn't really add that much to Shape of Water. So I do really want to see I, Tonya, though. So I guess given what Allison Janney's role in that film, I guess that was well deserved. Best Original Screenplay for Get Out, which was won by Jordan Peele. So, and this is one of those things where it's like, if it's not Get Out, it's Shape of Water. And even though Guillermo del Toro, he won for Best Director, I do love the fact that Jordan Peele won for Best Original Screenplay for Get Out. So hats off to Jordan Peele for that. The Big Sick by Emily V. Gordon and Kumail Nanjiani. Forgive me if I butcher your name, but I have seen The Big Sick, and that is one of those films last year that I wish I have seen and wish didn't fall under my radar. That is a great film. So, but Get Out was the clear victor for Best Original Screenplay. Shape of Water. 3 Billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri. So, yeah, Jordan Peele, hats off. I clap to you, raise a glass to you for winning Best Original Screenplay. I love that. I say the only category right now that I have to call bullshit on is Best Adapted Screenplay, which was given to Call Me by Your Name. I did not know that was based on the book, and it's nothing against that, but I really felt Logan should have won that award for Best Adapted Screenplay because he was adapting it from the old man Logan storyline. And it's nothing against Call Me by Your Name. I have not seen the movie, and nor do I really plan on seeing it. And it's nothing against the movie. It's just that movie's just not for me. And if you like that film, awesome. Film is subjective. It's just some films are for people, some films are just not for me. And if you trying to make a case saying I don't want to see it because it's about an interrelational relationship, I've seen Moonlight, I've seen Brokeback Mountain, so throw me a freaking bone, you know. Molly's Game, I have not seen that, but I do want to see that. Mudbound, so yeah, pretty much Logan should have won that award for best adapted screenplay, in my opinion. But so congrats to Call Me by Your Name for that category. Let's see, best animated feature, well deserved, given to Coco over Boss Baby. I'm still butthurt over that. I don't even know why that's in the category. Ferdinand, Loving Vincent, the breadwinner. So yeah, Coco. There was no competition was going to win that award. Let's see what else we got. Oh yes, oh yes. The one category that the winner of this category that came completely out of left field, in which it is joined Suicide Squad for Academy Award winners out of left field, and that is Glenn Keane and Kobe Bryant winning Best Animated Short Film for Dear Basketball. I guess we can now call Kobe Bryant Oscar winner Kobe Bryant. Has a nice little ring to it. But yeah, I know Kobe Bryant, he is retired recently, but congrats to him for that. He's definitely a GOAT. Greatest of all time for just off of that alone. Best original score, Shape of Water by Alexander Desplat over Dunkirk, which was by Hans Zimmer. I love Hans Zimmer. John Williams' Last Jedi, Three Billboards, Carter and Burrow, and John A. Greenwood, Phantom Thread. I'd say that was a category. It really could have been given to anyone. It's just none of the original scores from these movies haven't really gravitated towards me, or not. I shouldn't say gravitated towards me. It just hasn't hit me in a way that other scores have. So, especially for Star Wars, and you know how much I love Star Wars, but I feel like John Williams, he hasn't really made anything. What's the word? John Williams, he hasn't made anything memorable in terms of these newer Star Wars films. So, best original song, which was given to "Remember Me" by Coco. And yeah, I love the performance. Yeah, I would start out with the slow version, which was a lullaby, and then it went on to the fast-paced one, which was played at the end of the credits and sung by Miguel and I forgot the lady's name, but it was a great performance too. Though I didn't even realize that was Miguel, because I've recently rewatched Coco, and I'm warming up to Remember Me, the song, a lot bit more, and I didn't even realize that was R&B singer Miguel. So hats off to him for that. You also had Mighty River from Mudbound, sung by Mary J. Blige. Mystery of Love by Sufjan Stevens from Call Me by Your Name. Stand Up from Something from the movie Marshall, which is another film like, I recently saw that movie Marshall, which was about Thurgood Marshall. Another film I wish I had seen. There's a lot of, like, Get Out was pretty much, here's the thing, Get Out to me was the movie that came out of nowhere and that I absolutely loved. One of my favorites of last year. But then there's a couple movies that I let slip on under my radar I didn't get to see in theaters. Baby Driver is one of them. The Big Sick is one of them. And Marshall is one of them. So, and they say Hollywood has run out of ideas. Well, just look at those films, and you tell me Hollywood hasn't run out of ideas. But as for Remember Me from Coco, well deserved. Dunkirk is pretty much sweeping all of the technical awards, like one for best sound editing, best sound mixing, Shape of Water, best production design, best cinematography for Roger Deakins. He finally won that one, I believe, for Blade Runner 2049. Best makeup and hairstyling for The Darkest Hour. That's what I was talking about earlier, because Gary Oldman, he was in a fat suit. Best costume design for Phantom Thread, which is ironically because Phantom Thread is about costume design. Best film editing, Dunkirk. Best visual effects, Blade Runner 2049. So yeah, that's pretty much it. As the overall show, at the very end where they presented the best picture nominee, and we all remember what happened last year with Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway with the whole card mix-up. How La La Land won the Oscar for Best Picture for 30 seconds, and then it went to Moonlight, and they made a joke about it by bringing those two back, and I guess they handled it as the best way they can possible. I thought it was funny how Jimmy Fallon, he was trying to make a contest over who had the shortest speeches ever, and whoever had the shortest speech was given a jet ski. Thought that was funny. But I hope they get a different host because, Jimmy Kimmel 2 years in a row is like, can we get someone different, please? Just to switch it up. I would love for them to bring Seth MacFarlane back because I'm one of the few people that thought that he was a good host. Chris Rock is one I thought they should bring back as a host. Let's see. What else happened during the show? I thought it was cool that Jimmy Kimmel, he grabbed a couple of actors and actresses and brought them over to this screening of A Wrinkle in Time, and surprised them with candy and stuff, and they had the hot dog machine throwing it everywhere. That was pretty funny. The presenters, they were, I guess, hit or miss, like Tiffany Haddish and Maya Rudolph. They come out with their shoes off, and I'm like, that's funny and real. But then after a while, it's just like, y'all kind of overdoing it now. For the overall show, I thought it was a great show, especially given everything that's happened recently. It was a good show to pretty much showcase minorities, with female and African Americans, how we have a bunch of African Americans in categories and winning, and a bunch of other minorities in categories and winning. I thought that was very beautiful, and I guess a big step in the right direction because we all remember a couple of years ago they had the Oscars So White campaign, and they are making big steps. Granted, we have a long ways to go, but they are making steps nonetheless to giving people more opportunities and giving them the opportunity so that they can allowed to win these type of awards. I'll even say we're making steps in the right direction with the Academy finally recognizing that genre films can be great films such as Get Out and Logan, even though Logan, which is essentially a comic book film, but it was in the Best Adapted Screenplay category. It still got some recognition nonetheless, and hopefully that'll open the door for more good comic book movies to be winning awards like that and even more, and be recognizing some of the performances like they should have did for Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman in that film. But, we're making baby steps, and with the genre films like Get Out getting a lot of recognition, and Shape of Water, like I'm reading it right now, like Shape of Water, it has the most awards. Was nominated for 13 and won 4. In the end, I think we're making great progress with them recognizing genre films and with equality within not just film but within the awards. We have long ways to go, I feel, but we are making progress nonetheless. And I feel like this is probably one of the best Academy Award shows that I've seen in recent years, and I applaud them for that. I had a good time watching it, and I applaud everyone that won the awards. Well, almost everyone, because some of them I'm a little on the fence about, but like Jordan Peele, Guillermo del Toro, Shape of Water, Get Out, all of them, Coco, I clap to you, hats off to you, so congratulations to all y'all. Hopefully one day I can meet y'all there one day. And so that is it. This concludes this episode of the Lassiter Factor Podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and until next time, peace.